Welcome to Saturday Primetime, presented by AT&T. It is North Carolina and Duke in the rematch, with Carolina winning the earlier game 3.5 weeks ago in Chapel Hill. Welcome to another installment of the best rivalry in college basketball.
Let's go Duke! Let's go Duke!
Boom! Carolina, Duke, round two.
It's ridiculous how good this is.
The Heels just won.
Barry for three. Yes! They take round one from their arch rivals.
Grayson Allen, he ain't letting it happen again.
Wow!
Grayson Allen is absolutely on fire.
Primetime, Cameron Crazies, in March. Let's do this.
You're watching our Sonic Blockbuster, and is it ever, with North Carolina and Duke meeting here at Cameron Indoor Stadium, the 247th meeting between these two great programs, and this wraps up the regular season for both of them. It's senior night here at Cameron, and that means it's senior night for Grayson Allen, and what a game we should have. It always delivers. A lot of electricity in the building
That's
here
my
tonight.
line.
I'm
That's
sorry.
my line.
I took his line. You got nothing else? Dan Schulman and Jay Billis, he'll come up with something. You played in a number of these games. You've broadcast a ton of these games, no matter what's on the line, and there is a lot on the line tonight. This always lives up to and sometimes beyond expectation.
I think, Dan, you can make the argument that on a relative basis, this is the best rivalry in all of sports. The last 101 meetings, it is 51-50, separated by only 2 points. This is the 45th time these two teams have played. When they're both ranked in the top 10, it's 22-22. Who has had this type of rivalry at this level of excellence in their sport over this length of time? The passion in this rivalry is unmatched, especially in this building. It is an unbelievable rivalry, and we are lucky to be a part of it.
Absolutely are. You throw in, they're only about 10 miles apart, the two campuses, and that takes it to even another level. One thing has changed, though, since the last time they met. Back on February the 8th, Mike Krzyzewski was starting to integrate the zone defense. It's become a staple for this team right now.
Well, in the last 6 games, that's all they've been playing, and Duke has become a much better defensive team thanks to the zone. They are better positioned, they are better positioned to run, and they have certainly been harder to score upon. In fact, the last team to reach 70 points against Duke was North Carolina on February 8th when they had 82 to win that game in the Dean Dome.
And it's a great matchup of two senior guards, both from Florida. They've known each other a long time. They get along really well. Both fierce competitors.
And both winners. And Joel Berry is not just a winner, he is a champion. The most outstanding player of last year's NCAA tournament. Over his last 3 games, Joel Berry is averaging over 24 points per game. And he is starting to take games over. And Grayson Allen, in his last home game in a Duke uniform, over his last 6 games, he is averaging over 20 points per game. Since he has taken over at the point, Duke has ratcheted up his game. He is playing at a very high level.
And for more on that, let's go down to the court, and here is Maria Taylor.
Well, Dan, you mentioned that these senior guards have known each other for a long time. They grew up about 150 miles away from each other, even played on the same team on the YBL circuit, Joel Berry and Grayson Allen. And they both kind of root for each other when they're not playing against each other. And Barry said it's been very fun to see their roles change, but they both still have success at their rival schools. He also said, though, one thing he loves most about this rivalry game is getting a win in Cameron Indoor. If he can walk away his final season getting a win here, he'll be happy with everything that's happened during his time as a Tar Heel.
All right, Maria, thank you. 2 historic programs, 2 Hall of Fame coaches. They have combined for 8 national championships, 21 Final Fours, and this is the 29th meeting between Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski. This includes Kansas for Roy Williams. When both of their teams are ranked, that breaks a record that they had shared with Jim Boeheim and John Thompson. Of course, that great Syracuse-Georgetown rivalry. We are ready for the tip of our Sonic Blockbuster. From Cameron Indoor Stadium, Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Maria Taylor, the Game Day gang is here, and a Final Four officiating crew as well. Ray Steins, Roger Ayers, Mike Eads, and we are ready to roll here in Durham. And Javin DeLaurier getting the start for Duke tonight instead of Trevon Duval.
Duval has struggled over his last 3 games. DeLaurier gives Duke a little bit more size along the back line of that zone and a little bit more rebounding.
Duke a much bigger team, especially in the front court, than Carolina, and Wendell Carter Jr. strikes early.
And that's where Duke is going to go. They are going to go inside and try to let Marvin Bagley and Wendell Carter go to work.
Carolina doesn't have nearly the size that a typical Roy Williams Carolina team does. They're a good three-point shooting team. And of course they've got Luke May playing in the middle. He's having a terrific year, but an early turnover on the Tar Heels.
North Carolina only had 2 turnovers total in 40 minutes in the first game in Chapel Hill. That's the first turnover for the Tar Heels tonight. And North Carolina is the better three-point shooting team, and they're going to look to spread the floor and try to get some openings in that zone and kick it out for open shots.
Carolina went on a run at the end of the first half and the start of the second half in that game in Chapel Hill and won 82-78. The last time Carolina swept the 2 regular season meetings was back in 2009. They'll try to do that tonight, but they'll have to deal with DeLaurier around the rim.
And that's why he's in the starting lineup this evening. His defense, his energy, especially along the front line, can be a difference maker without scoring a point. Boy, Gary Trent, who has the ball right now, he's got to get going. He's 3 of his last 18 from three-point range. Missed his first one tonight.
After being about as hot a guy as there had been in the country prior to that for a few weeks.
Good pass. North Carolina's going to look to try to beat this zone up the floor.
Theo Pinson, who's been playing some great basketball lately for the Tar Heels, misses the jumper. Allen with the drive, hangs and hits.
Even though Duke is playing zone and the amount of possessions in their last 6 games has been reduced by about 7 per game, they're positioned to run and they have to look to run more often. Great pass by Joel Berry on the drive.
Berry off to Luke May, who's having a sensational year. And the Tar Heels really led by those 2 players, Berry in the backcourt, May in the front court.
That's going to be really key in this game. Can North Carolina penetrate into the gaps of the zone? Dribble penetration can be really debilitating to a zone defense.
Is this the most zone that you've seen a Mike Krzyzewski team ever play over his Duke career?
Oh,
yeah,
heck
by
yeah.
far, right?
I don't know that he's ever played it even close to as this much.
That 90% of their possessions since the last Carolina game have been zone defense. Corner 3, Kenny Williams, and Carolina on top.
Kenny Williams has not played quite as well in his last couple games, but he had 20 points and made 6 threes in the first meeting between these 2 teams. And just that little penetration by Theo Pinson got him open in the corner.
And Duke with an over and back.
Theo Pinson is an excellent passer. In fact, leads this North Carolina team in assists. And just that little penetration got Gary Trent to come up and leave Kenny Williams wide open in the corner. You give Williams that much time, and he's going to drain it. Now, if you make him put it on the floor, what Duke wants to do is make North Carolina into a 2-point shooting team. Get them inside of that 3-point line. Good screen on the middle.
Turnaround jumper May, too strong. Trevon Duval into the game now for Duke, taking the spot of DeLaurier.
That was a set play where North Carolina screens the middleman.
Carter one-on-one with May. Going to work, left hand, not there.
Most difficult thing to guard in basketball is one-on-one in the post. And North Carolina electing to go one-on-one and just stay big.
Berry with a long 2, and the Carolina lead stretches to 3.
And North Carolina effectively screening the Duke zone right now. That was a really nice, essentially ball screen for Berry. Got him wide open for the jumper. And what an answer by North Carolina. Gave up the first 4 points.
Carter strong to the rim, knocked out of bounds, and it's off Carter as May forces the Duke turnover.
Well, that was a great recovery by Luke May because he sold out, tried to get a steal. And that opened up a lane to the basket. Like usually that'd be a dunk or a foul, but that was a terrific play to get a piece of that by Luke May. That saved a bucket.
Wide open, Williams on the baseline, in and out. That's a pretty good look against the zone for a pretty good shooter.
This is a good zone offensive team. North Carolina did a great job against Syracuse of getting open shots against the zone.
7-4 Carolina early. When do we come back? Senior night for Grayson Allen. He reminisces with Jay Billis after this.
The honors keep coming, don't they?
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by AT&T and in part by Sonic. This is how you Sonic. And Land Rover, above and beyond.
Think about playing your last game in Cameron Indoor Stadium. What goes through your mind?
First, it's a lot of different emotions come up. Start feeling a lot of different feelings. Try to think back to all the different moments that I've had in here over the last 4 years.
When you came to Duke as a freshman, what would you say is the difference in the freshman Grayson Allen and the senior Grayson Allen that's about to play his last game?
Personality has changed a lot.
In what way?
I was much more, I think I've become more of an extrovert now than I was my freshman year. Where they had to force me to talk, and even then I didn't say much. Where now, I mean, as a leader, I'm kind of in a position where I'm the one who's always speaking and telling guys where to go.
The feeling of playing in the Duke-Carolina game, can you describe it?
It's hard to, just because you try to say it's just another game as a player, but it's not. It's like the peak atmosphere for playing basketball. You feel it.
Well, it has certainly been a memorable and complicated at times run for Grayson Allen here in Durham. An All-American as a sophomore, better than 20 points per game. Back as a freshman, exploding in the national championship game against Wisconsin, but also the 3 tripping incidents, how he is treated in road games wherever Duke goes anywhere, and now finishing off his career at Duke here as the lone senior on a team dominated by freshmen trying to lead his team back to the national championship.
Well, I think you can say without controversy it has been an extraordinary 4-year journey for Grayson Allen, with peaks, valleys, ups, downs, you name it. And it's remarkable. I've never even contemplated a player playing at one school for 4 years and having as many different teammates as Grayson Allen has had. It's really incredible.
Trevon Duval with a steal, and the finish, and the foul.
After missing a couple of free throws, Trevon Duval, with those long arms and anticipation, knocks that ball away, able to take it the other way, and not just score, but score and get fouled. Strong play. See how he keeps his head up the entire time and keeps his eyes on the rim? Your eyes make layups.
Well, he's struggling at the line. He's missed 3 tonight, and he missed the front end of a 1-and-1 very late in the game Monday night at Blacksburg when Virginia Tech beat Duke by a point. Allen the steal. A whistle before the dunk. No basket. It's going to be a foul on Grayson Allen off the ball, so wave off the basket.
Well, a careless pass by Joel Berry that Duke had an opportunity to really get an easy bucket, but Kenny Williams leads this North Carolina team in charges taken. And after Allen gave that up, just couldn't stop and plowed him over. I think that's like 25 charges or so that Kenny Williams taken. That's the most by far.
Garrison Brooks into the game for Carolina with a rebound, but then got rejected. And the heels on the glass again, but Marquise Bolden wraps it up for Duke.
Duke with their size challenging around the rim. And North Carolina, it's been an issue all year, defending the rim and scoring around it.
Wow, everything but the finish for Trent, but then Bolden is fouled.
Duke is the best offensive rebounding team in the country. The Blue Devils get about 40% of their misses. North Carolina gets almost 39%. They're third in the nation in offensive rebound percentage, but nobody got a body on Marquise Bolden. And even though he mistimed that jump, was able to get up and get that second one. And you really have to have your head about you to be able, when a shot goes up, you got to turn and hit somebody. And he's got to be hit, find, and fetch.
Alex O'Connell checks into the game. Duval to the bench. Carter back. Bagley to the bench.
Bolden, since he's back from injury, has really given Duke a nice rotation in the front court with all that size.
And a tip back on the missed free throw, so another possession for the Blue Devils.
Great fake.
And a three. Great rebound by Carter. The kick to O'Connell. The freshman Alex O'Connell knocked down 3 threes in the game against Carolina back at the Dean Dome. The answer at the other end for Cameron Johnson, who had a huge game against the Blue Devils last month.
Anytime the ball goes into the post in the zone, you have to be cognizant of three-point shooters. So instead of going to the ball, you have to go to shooters. Once it's inside that three-point line, the twos aren't going to hurt you. The threes are.
Step back jumper, Gary Trent Jr. Duke by 2. Two very good offensive teams. Deep one for Johnson. And another good rebound by Bolden.
Boy, Luke May trying to go after that ball in between Wendell Carter and Marquise Bolden. That's a lot to ask to get that rebound between those two.
Yeah, May's 6'8", but he's given up size to both Carter and Bolden. Now Carolina with a chance to run, something they love to do, and Johnson will slam it home.
Boy, North Carolina so good in transition. Terrific job by Johnson to run the floor after he saw that the ball was secure. And then Joel Berry, the pass ahead. Grayson Allen looked like he was trying to foul, so he couldn't get the layup. Joel Berry grabbed that rebound, a below-the-rim rebound, and immediately looked to pass ahead. And Allen tried to foul Cam Johnson just so he couldn't get all the way, and he was out of position to be able to get that. And tried to foul, but just couldn't get it.
Second on Brooks. He'll stay in the game. May has gone to the bench. Andrew Platek checks in for the first time for Carolina. And the Tar Heels scrambling a little to line up who they're guarding as Duke inbounds the ball, but they recover. Allen a deep one.
Well, they had an opportunity to run right there when Platek got the ball.
Duke had won 5 in a row before losing to Virginia Tech on Monday. Carolina had won 6 in a row before losing on their senior night in Chapel Hill Tuesday to Miami. So whoever loses this one is going into the ACC tournament on a 2-game losing streak. Boy, Joel Berry is going to hear about that from the crowd here in Durham.
Think that's going to bother him?
Not a bit. Tomorrow it's an NBA Eastern Conference matchup, and a good one as the 76ers take on the Bucks. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN and the ESPN app. 8 minutes in, tied at 12. Final game of the regular season for Duke and Carolina.
Allen being guarded by Platek.
Little high-low, Carter to Bagley, and a foul.
Boy, that is awfully difficult to deal with. Not enough size to handle Bagley inside.
We'll step aside when we come back. The best of 94 feet.
It's a tie. It's all the best.
Best of 94 feet, or the best of me.
If you weren't coaching and had to do something outside of sports, what would you do?
Be a lawyer who turned to broadcasting.
All right, spell Mikhailuk.
MYKHAILIUK.
When Coach White yells at you, what does he say most often?
Cut out all the hot sauce. I'm too flashy.
All right, what does Coach Self say to you most often in practice when he gets on you?
What the F are you doing?
How difficult was it for you to understand the pack line defense?
I think I'm just now getting it. This is my first year getting it.
It's a fourth year?
Yeah.
What's the one thing Coach Williams says to you that you won't miss?
If you take a shot, have enough balls to make it.
Most famous person you've ever met?
It has to be you, man.
94 feet.
I like this guy.
Surprised that wasn't a longer feature myself.
Yeah, because
so much good stuff.
It's all best.
Yes.
How can you even make a decision? Somebody just threw a ball out onto the court, and I think the Duke bench was warned, or the Duke crowd was warned. That was bizarre. I don't think I've ever seen that before in here.
Bagley was lining up for a free throw, and all of a sudden the officials blew the whistle and said, hang on a second. There's a smaller basketball was rolling down the court towards him.
Maybe a pickup game broke out in the crowd we just didn't know about.
Marvin Bagley III, his 3rd game back from a knee sprain. And Duke, although it's March already, with all the freshmen, Bagley in and out, Grayson Allen moving to the point for the most part. They feel they're kind of still evolving and still improving as they head into the postseason. Another great interior feed as Pinson finds Brooks.
Well, Pinson is so good in the middle of that zone because he's a playmaker. And one thing I think North Carolina is going to try to do is at times overload and attack Marvin Bagley's side because they want to make Marvin Bagley make some decisions defensively.
And at the other end, do they make Pinson to make some decisions? He's guarding Bagley right now. That's where Carolina's given up a lot of size. And Wendell Carter Jr. called for the foul.
Well, Theo Pinson in ACC play has been outstanding, averaging over 10 points per game, shooting well from the perimeter. He drew Wendell Carter up. And anytime you help up, you'd better get a rotation over. And Marvin Bagley nowhere to be seen in your screen because he did not rotate. He's the low man to the left of Wendell Carter.
Strong finish by Brooks as well. He goes to the bench, and Sterling Manley, another freshman, a big man, is into the game. The last Duke foul not on Carter. It was on Bagley, his first.
And Sterling Manley had a very good game when they played against Syracuse. Another really good pass.
Manley bothered by Carter, though.
Well, he's got to go straight up. He tried to avoid the block shot instead of going right into the contact to try to draw the foul. That way you're not going to get the foul. It's going to be even harder to complete the play.
Second on Brandon Robinson as Roy Williams steals a few minutes here with his bench. He's got Robinson, Playtech, and Manley all in off the bench right now.
And North Carolina has 6 team fouls to this point in the half. Duke only has 2. So Duke's got to attack, try to get into the paint, and they'll be shooting free throws the rest of the half.
Bagley gets a touch. First field goal of the game for Marvin Bagley.
Gary Trent Jr. just set a great cross screen, a little on big cross screen to free up Marvin Bagley III underneath. If you switch, there's a mismatch. There was miscommunication, and Bagley had the easy one. Great screen by Trent.
Barry still hearing the air ball chant. Playtech for 3. Midway point of the first half, 1-point lead, Duke.
Manley and Carter banging bodies down low.
Allen almost lost it. Still plenty of time. Trent behind the back, step back 3. And it is out of bounds to the Blue Devils.
Take a look at Gary Trent Jr. here, setting a little cross screen for Marvin Bagley III. So he sets the screen, picks off. All of a sudden, Theo Pinson's got to go over the top, and he can't get in between Marvin Bagley and the basket. An easy basket for Duke because of that little on big cross screen.
Roy Williams just brought in 4 new players, including 3 of his starters. Johnson, Williams, and May are all back. Barry's on the bench right now.
I don't mean to call Gary Trent little. He's not little, just in comparison to those big guys.
He's a solid 6'6" guard. They're huge up front right now with Delorier, Carter, and Bagley.
Good pass out.
Delorier will take the 3. And over the back is Carter to commit the foul, his first.
Well, that's a foul you certainly can live with because Mike Krzyzewski wants his team to pound the glass. They've got a size advantage, but not necessarily a rebounding advantage. North Carolina leading the ACC in rebounding, having a rebound margin of plus 11.5 is really remarkable given their lack of size.
And as you've said a couple of times recently, they don't do rebounding drills in practice. They just emphasize it in everything they do.
Not a one. They do not do a single rebounding drill. But if you don't box out when you're supposed to, if you don't go to the glass when you're supposed to, you are accountable, you run after practice. But it's something that they emphasize without drilling, kind of like they drill it at Michigan State or most other places. I mean, I know a lot of coaches call Roy Williams and say, hey, what kind of rebounding drills do you do? And his response is, we don't.
Yeah. What's at stake here tonight in terms of the ACC tournament as you look at the rebounding numbers for North Carolina? Duke knows they are not going to play until Thursday. They have earned a double bye. They'll be the 2 seed if they win tonight, the 3 seed if they lose tonight. Of course, Virginia's the 1 no matter what. For North Carolina, a bigger gap. They'll be the 2 seed if they win. They will be the number 6 seed if they lose. Complicated tiebreakers, congested ACC. Clemson has earned a double bye no matter what. May, and he traveled, couldn't get rid of it quickly enough. 5th turnover committed by Carolina. So for Carolina, Jay, just looking at it from the perspective of Brooklyn and next week, there's a big difference between being number 6 and being number 2.
No question. And puts even more on this game. But I don't think anybody playing in this game is really worried about the ramifications. They want to win this game. I mean, this is a game, nobody in 20 years is going to ask, hey, where'd you finish in the ACC as a result of this game? They're going to ask whether you won or lost this one.
Carolina won the first one. Feb 8 in Chapel Hill. Great steal by Grayson Allen.
Duke right now is taking advantage of North Carolina being careless.
Carolina's had a couple of good looks in that short corner, have not been able to knock them down. Carter somehow didn't travel, couldn't finish, and May has it for the Heels. Pinson with a crossover and a finish. Nicely done.
There are so many different players in light blue that can grab a rebound and take the ball the other way, or take an outlet and take the ball the other way. Basically, all 5 guys on the floor can bust out and start the break. That's not the norm.
Carter getting a lot of touches in the post against May.
Got to go quicker, though. He needs to go right away.
And it'll be Carolina ball when we come back. 2-point lead Duke. Grayson Allen off to a good start here on his senior night.
Well, Grayson Allen has 47 steals on the season. This is 48. He's alert in transition, gets the steal, and the one-handed jam.
He attracts a lot of people from a lot of places who want to come see North Carolina play Duke. Larry Fitzgerald is here. Tony Romo is here. Todd Gurley is here. And it goes beyond football as well. Rapper 2 Chainz, who's a part of the game day show and nearly made a half-court shot. He is here as well. And noted Duke alum Ken Jeong is here as well. He's coming out of his shell slowly.
Dr. Ken Jeong.
We got a 2-point game. Duke up on Carolina with Jay Billis, Maria Taylor. I'm Dan Schulman, Reese Davis, Seth Greenberg, and Jay will be along at halftime to analyze this matchup for you.
Well, 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure back into the 2-3 zone.
Well, let's take a look at the conference right now. Selection Sunday's not that far away, of course, and let's see where Joey Brackets has it. Virginia, a win over Notre Dame today. They have locked up the ACC championship, regular season championship. They did that a while ago. They're a lock to be a 1. Right now, Joe Lunardi has Duke and Carolina both as the 2 notable events today. Syracuse got a badly needed win over Clemson. They probably still have work to do in Brooklyn, and I am fascinated, Mr. Billis, by the case of Notre Dame right now. They lost against Virginia today in Charlottesville, but they played well. They hung with Virginia for 40 minutes and lost, I think, by 5, but it was really a 2-point game to the final seconds. Will they get evaluated based on their entire resume, or will they get evaluated based on what they have been with Bonzie Colson in the lineup this year?
I think it's a combination of both. I think Notre Dame makes a very good case to get into the field. Now, if you're just going to say, okay, well, it doesn't matter that Bonzie Colson has been out all that time, I think the committee looks at everybody's resume independently, and they do take injuries into account. But I think Notre Dame is going to make a really good case to get in. I think on that list that we just saw of ACC teams, team I'd worry about is Louisville. Like, Louisville's in some trouble. If they don't win a game or 2 in the ACC tournament, they're on the outside looking in.
Louisville's going into the tournament as the 9 seed, so they will not play on Tuesday. They'll play Florida State in the 8-9 game on Wednesday. Notre Dame's first game will be against Pitt, and then they'll have to play Virginia Tech if they win on the second day. Would you put Notre Dame, let's say Notre Dame beats Pitt and then they lose their next game to Virginia Tech, would you put them in the tournament?
Well, it depends. I mean, the answer is yes, but it depends also on what other teams do. What if Oklahoma State makes a great run in their tournament? And I'll tell you what, and we've talked about this before, Dan, I think the committee should make all the decisions on their at-large choices tomorrow. I think all this should be done tomorrow night. I don't think that postseason tournaments for major conferences should factor in at all.
Because
the mid-majors don't get a chance to play quality games. They're playing games that don't help them in the RPI and don't help them rise up, and that isn't right. So you got teams like Syracuse and Louisville. They have a chance to get top 10, top 25 wins late in the season in their tournament that other conferences don't get a chance to get.
So, devil's advocate, how do you maintain the relevance of power conference tournaments if the
it's for your automatic bid? It's for your automatic bid.
All right.
I mean, that's what everybody else has to deal with. I don't see why the major conferences should get all these different bites at the apple.
Carolina back on top. 5th lead change in this game. Trent turnaround, ties it.
Well, he is doing all of his damage inside the arc. 3 of his last 19 from 3. But his work inside the arc has been good in this one.
Foul on the floor going against the Blue Devils. Is it Bagley?
It's Bagley.
It's Bagley, and it's his second. With 6 minutes left in the half. Still to come tonight. Speaking of the bubble, UCLA and USC both appear to be on it. And they'll tangle next tonight here on ESPN.
That is a huge game as far as the bubble's concerned. That could knock USC down a peg and raise UCLA up a peg.
Arizona and seemingly Arizona State safely in the field, but beyond that, it's anybody's guess.
A great passing along the perimeter by North Carolina. And North Carolina with their lineup changes, they're getting their guys a rest. They put some fouls up on the board, but Carolina is a tough team to beat. They're different than they've been, but they're tough to deal with.
Bolden, the catch and the finish. May with a drive and a finish at the other end. You know what's amazing about Carolina? With all they lost from the national championship team a year ago, you look at that starting 5, they're still old.
They are.
They're very experienced.
And this is the best team of the 3 post-year championship teams he's had, or post-championship teams. This is the best one. I mean, the one he had in 06 and in 2010. This is his best post-year of a championship team.
Trent, another step back, looking for the foul call, didn't get it. Off a leg to Carolina.
And that one goes against Wendell Carter. Just over the top. But a terrific passing when Williams just looked to take that shot. That drew Gary Trent right to him. Immediate pass to the wing to May, and an easy 3.
So, Jay, that is the second on Carter. Bagley's got 2, so both of those big guys are sitting on the bench and are likely to stay there for the rest of the first half.
And guess what? Duke is still big with Delorier and Bolden, just not as offensively powerful inside.
A good look for Kenny Williams. And Pinson with a remarkable follow.
Boy, just to corral that was remarkable, let alone to put that in. Theo Pinson is having an outstanding season. He does so many things, and he's added in scoring, and he's starting to knock down perimeter shots as well.
Yeah, had made 5 of his last 8 threes coming into this game after making only 5 of 35 prior to that.
I just don't like how uptight he is before games.
Barry with a block from behind.
Theo Pinson, over his last 6 games or so, is averaging over 7 rebounds per game. Nobody boxes him out. Great concentration to corral that ball and put it in. And North Carolina really goes hard after the basketball when it's on the glass. Doesn't matter that they're smaller.
Allen gets it off just in time, and O'Connell runs it down.
The first time that North Carolina waited for the ball to come to them.
Trent on the bench right now as well, so 3 of the better offensive options for Duke not in the game. And will Grayson Allen try to maybe really assert himself to keep the Blue Devils in it? They're down by 5, 3:56 to go in the first half in the rematch. Great scene this morning here at Cameron for College Game Day. And Coach Greenberg, who was on the Carolina side for Family Feud, but later had a Duke hat. And a young man hit the half-court shot, won himself $18,000. Today, coming up, the Alfa Romeo halftime report. Look at some big upsets and Big Ten tournament highlights. How about the Michigan Wolverines getting it done in March for the second year in a row? For a preview, Maria's got the coach, and Jay will if he pays attention.
Yeah, they're men of the people. You got paint on your back, but that's all right. What are you seeing so far from UNC's late run?
Duke's got very little flow offensively. They're really not doing anything. They're not getting it inside. They're not getting the ball reversed. And on the other end, they've got to do a better job in defensive transition because Carolina's running it right at them. What do you think, Jay Will?
Theo Pinson has done so much for this team. Not only does he battle people inside, he's also a playmaker for them offensively.
All right, we're going to try to get him to a desk at halftime. We'll see what happens, guys. Sorry about that.
All right, guys,
Brush your
thank you.
shoulders off.
I'll tell you one thing Duke's got to do is start hitting free throws. They are missing a ton of free throws in this game.
4 out of 12 right now. Pinson again.
Boy, the middle of the zone is soft, but the one upside of that is Carolina's not shooting threes. They're only getting them 2 at a time. But Duke's got to do a better job of keeping the ball out of the middle. North Carolina, in a way, kind of carving up that zone, getting the ball where they want.
Carolina has stretched out the lead since Bagley and then Carter went to the bench, each with their second foul.
Well, this is a big 3-minute stretch to end this half.
Duke without its usual complement of offensive options in the game right now. Johnson a little strong on the three. Great rebound by Williams.
A long rebound. North Carolina just more alert.
Pinson from the corner misses the three.
Not sure that was the shot. Even though Theo Pinson is hitting a higher percentage of late, that was challenged.
O'Connell challenges and gets rejected by Brooks. Sports Center tonight after UCLA and USC. John Abuchagrass and John Anderson. Highlights from a big one in the NBA between the Rockets and the Celtics. Houston looking to extend the winning streak to 15. Post-game reaction. And Mr. Billis, you're going to be asked to provide some insight on this game here tonight.
It's mostly on how quarterbacks performed at the Combine.
You do wear many hats.
With my head, you have to wear a hat, brother.
Marvin Bagley's going to come back into the game for Duke despite having 2 fouls.
And North Carolina let Allen split that double.
O'Connell gets a good look.
And North Carolina's out-rebounded Duke, but Duke's getting some second chance opportunities. They're not able to get stickbacks as easily, but they're getting offensive rebounds. Well, Bolden was open inside. Missed him.
Now Trent with the shot clock at 5. Barry staying right with him. Trent's got to create.
What good defense by Joel Barry and help from Theo Pinson.
Barry gets by Allen. Off to Brooks. Can't finish.
That was a good fake, but Brooks just didn't go up strong enough.
And a timeout taken by Duke. They have been scoreless for a while. They're down 7 on their home court to the Tar Heels. 7-point lead Carolina late first half. Let's take a look at tonight's Sonic blockbuster. One of the best individual plays of the game from Grayson Allen. The steal and the slam earlier this half for the Blue Devils. Cameron Johnson doing likewise for the Tar Heels.
Right now, North Carolina with the 7-point lead, and Duke has been missing free throws. They are taking a ton of challenge shots. When the ball has gone inside, Wendell Carter Jr. not on the floor right now. Marvin Bagley is. Well, Duke has hesitated to make a quick move and has allowed North Carolina to catch up a little bit and force a challenge shot.
Jack White makes his first appearance in the game for Duke. Foul from behind committed by Brandon Huffman, the 6'10 freshman from Goldsboro, North Carolina. 3 freshman big guys for Roy Williams, and Huffman gets the fewest minutes of that trio.
Roy Williams is going to play his bench, and even though it might put him at a disadvantage at times on the offensive end, it keeps his team fresher. They can keep coming at you for 40 minutes. Boy, the free throw shooting has been abysmal.
4 for 13. White working hard, comes up with a loose ball. Man, if you're not on the deck right now, you're just not trying in this game. And there's a foul committed by Grayson Allen.
Boy, bodies all over the floor going after the ball, and North Carolina comes away with it. And they wind up getting a foul on Grayson Allen. First it was Jack White first to the floor. Lost the ball, then two Tar Heels, and it winds up ultimately in Kenny Williams' hands. And then Grayson Allen fouls him, now puts him at the line for 1-1.
The second on Allen.
This will just be the third free throw attempt for North Carolina. 14 for Duke, yet they've only made 4 of them. And heck, that's one of the reasons that North Carolina is out rebounding Duke, because Duke's missed so many free throws. Those were always the best rebounds to get off a missed free throw.
The easiest ones for a big guy. Williams knocks them both down. Duke has not scored for 4.5 minutes.
Well, Duke's not had a good shot attempt for 4 minutes. Most of Duke's shots have been challenged twos. Good fake.
Allen with a runner. Got it. 7 now for Grayson Allen. Duke down by 7. Final minute of the first half.
Carolina can go 2 for 1.
Pinson in the middle of the zone, and that pass got away from him. O'Connell. Duke looking for a little momentum here towards the end of the first half.
Walk.
Not going to get it there. Bagley travels, and now Carolina can hold for the final shot.
It's a really good play by Theo Pinson to come over from the high side on the double, and in essence force that double team, or force that travel by Marvin Bagley III.
Jay Bagley's got 3 points in this game. Carter's got 2 points in this game.
Really remarkable, especially given the seasons those two have had. And North Carolina doing a good job of just walling up and making both Carter and Bagley shoot over the top. They're not giving them angles to the basket, and usually that's where Marvin Bagley III thrives, is getting past you with his quickness and getting an angle to the basket.
Meanwhile, Cameron Johnson, the transfer from Pitt, who had 18 points, 13 rebounds in the first game against Duke back on February the 8th, is off to another great start tonight.
Well, Cameron Johnson was injured early in the season after transferring from Pittsburgh as a grad transfer with 2 years of eligibility, but he can stretch the floor. He gets out in transition. He is a good rebounder and a good passer as well, and has proven to be a capable defender.
2 very good games, as we mentioned, against the Blue Devils this year. Mike Krzyzewski's taken Bagley out of the game again because he's got 2 fouls. Grayson Allen as well. Here in what should be the final possession of the first half.
I think you want to let Theo Pinson touch this ball in the middle. Let him make a play. And there's a lot of space because Alex O'Connell out top trying to guard Joel Berry.
5 seconds.
Good pass.
And Williams with a nice look. Berry the assist. And North Carolina will head to the locker room with a 10-point lead here at Cameron. They're trying to make it 2 in a row over the Blue Devils here during the season. And they are up by 10 halfway through. 35-25. Carolina leads Duke. After the break, the Alfa Romeo halftime report. Reese Davis, Jay Williams, Seth Greenberg after these messages. Welcome back to Saturday Primetime, presented by AT&T.
North Carolina versus Duke isn't just a rivalry, it's a rite of winter. It's a gift that keeps giving twice, sometimes 3 times a year, every year. It dares you not to watch. It has been played in black and white, and in black and blue, with a little red mixed in too. It has been played by the best, coached by the best, and cheered by the best. It has seen 4 slaps and 4 burns, tents and tension, locks and brawls. It has created villains.
I'm a very easygoing person.
But villains worthy of respect. And it has created legends and moments that stand the test of time. It is college basketball's Ali versus Frazier, Red Sox versus Yankees, Jerry Jones versus Roger Goodell. It is a rivalry that other rivalries set their DVRs for. North Carolina, Duke. What will you give us this time?
This is a Sonic blockbuster on ESPN. How close has this rivalry been? Including tonight, over the last 102 games, North Carolina has won 51, Duke's won 50, and including tonight, Carolina's got a 12-point advantage. They had a 2-point advantage in the previous 101 games coming into this one tonight. We've got 20 minutes at least still to go. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis back with you. Carolina leading by 10. Was it Carolina playing well or Duke playing poorly?
It was Carolina not playing well. Carolina didn't play well in that first half. They're still up 10. I mean, North Carolina had 7 turnovers. They gave up 8 offensive rebounds to Duke. They shot 38% and they're up 10. Duke played really poorly. They missed 10 free throws, 4 of 14. They missed 9 threes. They're 1 of 10, shooting only 31%. And Duke scored some of their points off North Carolina's sloppy turnovers. I think both teams have to feel they can play much, much better in the second half.
We're ready now for the start of the second half of our Sonic blockbuster. Carolina with the ball at a 10-point lead. Let's send it down to Maria.
Well, Dan, Roy Williams said that one of his focuses is continuing to move the ball and get it inside of that zone. If you can get it to Theo, he said they're going to get great looks and penetration. He also really wants his team to focus on staying down when Grayson goes with the pump fake. They feel like they're doing a good job challenging right now, which is why they were able to hold him to 30%. And the message out of the Duke locker room is have more pace on offense and make these free throws in the second half.
Yeah, and as Jay and Jay Will have both said, when you're a zone team, sometimes you have trouble getting out as quickly as you want and playing with as much pace as you want at the offensive end.
Well, I actually think that Duke is set up to run in the zone much better than in man. It's just they have fewer possessions. And sometimes when you're playing zone, you know, the offensive team playing against you has to take more time to get the shot that they want. And you can get caught in a slower rhythm in the game. And I think that might be what happened to Duke in that first half. But you have to you can still run, get deflection, steals go the other way, and then after a rebound, you can make an outlet the same as if you're playing in man. There's no reason you can't.
Let's remember Bagley, Carter, and Allen all have 2 fouls. Bagley shovel pass into Javin DeLaurier.
Heck of a catch by DeLaurier on the baseline.
DeLaurier, as was the case at the outset of the game, getting the start in place of Trevon Duval. May with a turnaround, way off. For a guy who's a terrific mid-range shooter. Trent for 3. And Duke now 1 for 11 from beyond the arc.
He has really struggled his last 3 games.
Barry with a pull-up and rattles it home to restore the 10-point advantage.
That is a deflating play for Duke to have a wide-open shot, miss it, then give up an easy one on the other end. And North Carolina keeping that double-digit lead. They've got to go into Bagley. He's being guarded by Pinson.
They'll try here. Williams with the help. Not enough. Only so much you can help when that guy gets a touchdown low.
Well, Pinson trying to front Marvin Bagley III, and if there's not pressure on the pass to take away vision, Duke should be able to throw over the top and get that more than a little bit.
Zone again by the Blue Devils, as has been the case almost the entire night. Pinson turns it over. Senior night for Grayson Allen here at Cameron.
That will go down as a steal, but North Carolina has to feel that was just a sloppy pass from Theo Pinson.
And a travel is called on Bagley.
Wendell Carter up top and a little high-low, trying to get the ball to Marvin Bagley, and just not enough pressure on the ball to start. Luke May just a little bit late, and then Carter able to just pick him apart. Good pass.
Williams into Luke May for the easy one, and it's back to 10.
Well, Luke May is not the type around the basket that's going to elevate and go over you. He gets his shots off quickly around the rim.
He probably won't win ACC Player of the Year. Bagley probably will, but May could finish second. They're the only 2 ACC players on the Wooden finalist list of 15 players that was announced today.
Boy, that was a great job by Cameron Johnson to help down low. He was guarding Javin DeLaurier, not a perimeter shooting threat. And right now, Alex O'Connell going to come in for DeLaurier to give Duke a little bit more perimeter shooting. Because if you don't have perimeter shooting around those two big guys, all of a sudden you can camp out on Wendell Carter and Marvin Bagley III in the lane.
So 3 minutes into the second half, Carolina still leads by 10, and to make it 13 as Johnson knocks one down, and he's got 13 points tonight.
Boy, Duke at the top of that zone, just not alert to get out to a shooter, just on a simple guard-to-guard pass.
Allen lost the handle. Still loose, and Barry's got it. Williams to May. Trent took it away from him. Good job by Carolina to get back in transition. Carolina bench wanted a push off there on Allen. They don't get the call. Carter.
Well, Roy Williams wanted a push off on Carter there too, but that's just really good rebounding by Wendell Carter Jr. to get that stick back. That middle is wide open for North Carolina. If they want to get the ball right around the free throw line, they can do it.
Barry splits the top of the zone, but then lost the handle.
Set play.
Trent. And bothered by Barry as he let the shot go. Carolina ball.
And here's North Carolina with Luke May bringing it down.
And rejected by Carter. Back and forth we go. Allen lost it out of bounds. It stays with Duke. 4.5 into the second half. Carolina on the road with a double-digit lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Chobani. Pick your favorite yogurt at Chobani.com. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Travelocity. Wander wisely.
It ain't a party till the Gnome shows up, and he was out in Krzyzewskiville, but come on, guys. He's valuable. Oh, break down the replay for us, will you, Jay?
I'm not using the telestrator. Boy, that was a face plant. That was like a belly flop.
Let's take a look at On the Road, presented by Travelocity. Carolina 36-44 all time here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The most wins by any opponent. A win tonight, and they would sweep the season series, the regular season series from the Blue Devils for the first time since Tyler Hansbrough's senior season back in 08-09. Baseline floater, Barry not there.
Well, that's a difficult shot over size for Joel Barry on the baseline. Well, Wendell Carter was wide open. He needed to get the ball there.
Johnson on Bagley on this trip, and he picks up his second.
You can tell that Duke wants to try to get the ball into the low post and play inside out. Put North Carolina in a position to get some fouls.
O'Connell cut off by May, finds Carter, stripped by Johnson.
Well, you bring that ball down, and Cam Johnson was right there to take it away.
Good ball movement against the zone.
A great fake.
And Williams knocks down the 16-footer.
Boy, that is a beautiful shot fake by Kenny Williams. That's just great basketball.
The lead back to 11. Carter brought it down again. This time was fouled and will head to the free throw line.
North Carolina gets the ball into the middle, kicks it back out, then makes the extra pass, 2 guarding 1. And then on the closeout from the top to the baseline, Kenny Williams just with a beautiful shot fake. And Gary Trent Jr. flies right by. 1 dribble pull up. That's just beautiful. Duke
with a rare make at the line tonight. They're now 5 for 15. in this game. Still to come tonight, a big game. UCLA, USC both on the bubble. Bill Walton on the call with Dave Pash. The game coming your way after us tonight.
Jordan, aren't you happy to be playing in the Conference of Champions instead of some truck stop conference in the Midwest? The Conference of Champions.
You love your bike?
I love my bike, Dan. I love Maui. It is Dan, isn't it?
Crazy's getting louder here in Durham. Can they sustain it? Pinson again in the right place at the right time, but a turnover. Allen into the paint. And Carter fouled again. Another offensive rebound, and Carter headed back to the line.
Well, Duke getting the ball in the paint after the turnover. And Wendell Carter Jr. was fouled.
My bad,
He was
not
bringing
in
the
the
ball
act of
down.
shooting.
Yeah, it was not in the act of shooting, so they're taking it out of bounds underneath. They have to really watch Marvin Bagley III looping in. They lobbed it to him last time, got an easy basket. He was matched up with Joel Berry.
And Roy Williams has made a sub here to go bigger as Brooks comes in for Pinson. Duval back into the game for Duke, finds Carter. They double him. Duval's open and knocks down the three. Not his strong suit, just 27% on the season, but that's a big one for the Blue Devils. Brooks got it. Big bucket for the Tar Heels to stem the tide.
Last defensive possession for North Carolina. Carolina doubled in the post. They kicked it out to Trevon Duval, who knocked down a three, the most unlikely three-point shooter for Duke on the floor right now. And you wonder if North Carolina is going to continue to double. They double from the top, Kenny Williams. And then Brooks couldn't get out there to put too much pressure on that shot. I don't think they were too worried about Duval taking it. But you wonder, North Carolina really didn't double in the post in the first half. They went one-on-one in the post.
Third on Joel Berry. And he'll sit.
I don't think he'll sit for long.
Allen uses the screen, knocks down the three. Senior night for Grayson Allen, and he's into double figures. Great job by Trent to hold off Brooks. Duval. Bagley! Seventh Woods rejected by Marquise Bolden.
Boy, a different vibe in this building right now because Duke is starting to throw some haymakers, and Trevon Duval has been a difference maker the last several plays. You go underneath any screening action and Grayson Allen will pull up and take that shot from behind the screen. Good pass into the middle.
And that will quiet them, at least for the moment.
That was a basket that North Carolina needed to stem the tide. Duke has to continue to get into the paint and go to Marvin Bagley. And Duval off the drive has been drawing the defense and able to kick it to him.
Bagley gets a touch and deflected out of bounds by Johnson.
Good rotation by Kenny Williams. A terrific job by Trevon Duval. He gets by Seventh Woods. Cam Johnson has to help up. There's no rotation down, and Bagley wide open. Talk about above the rim.
Trent. And Duke still cold from beyond the arc.
Especially Trent in the last 3 ball games. He has really struggled from 3. He was the top three-point shooter in the league for most of league play until the last 3 games.
Look at this one. Way deep from Johnson. Offensive rebound, Brooks. Nice pass to May. Follows it up and makes it count.
Well, May just undeterred after getting that shot blocked by Gary Trent Jr. right there to put it back in when Trent Jr. was sort of falling out of bounds after the contact.
And May now with 13 to match Johnson for the highest point total on the Tar Heels.
That was an important answer for North Carolina.
And a foul called on to Brooks to send us to a timeout. Carolina still with the lead, but it's now 7. A couple of Hall of Famers, a couple of historic programs. The rematch, Carolina trying to sweep the series.
Marvin Bagley III had only 3 points in the first half, 1 of 3 from the field. Mike Krzyzewski talking to him about how to position himself to be more effective in this second half. And early on in the second half, Marvin Bagley already has 6 points in the second half to have 9 total for the game. He's 3 of 3 in the second half, all of them very high percentage looks. And you have to think that Marvin Bagley III, even though he's missed a number of games, is the leading candidate for ACC Player of the Year with the season he's had. Remember the first game between these two teams, he had 15 points, 16 rebounds.
Allen misses the 3, and it is Carolina ball off Carter out of bounds. And here come Pinson and Berry, a couple of seniors back into the game for the Tar Heels, as Woods and Robinson head to the bench, or excuse me, Brooks heads to the bench.
Good substitution by Roy Williams. Pinson and Berry able to stay out not only through that timeout, but the first defensive possession back now so they can play some offense for North Carolina.
So Carolina back to a smaller lineup with May at the 5 and really 4 guards around him. Berry misses the 3.
Just a rush shot by Joel Berry. Not in rhythm. Well, Carter was wide open.
Bagley for 3. 35% from beyond the arc on the season, and Duke's only down by 4. Nice ball movement. Boy, as good a look as Kenny Williams could ask for. Bagley just trying to take over right now.
There is nobody in America quicker to the ball than Marvin Bagley III. After he missed that initial shot because of the great defense from behind by Theo Pinson, look at the second and third jump. Just quicker the second time, the third time, and more explosive than anybody else. That's one of the many things that set this player apart from the crowd. What a talent Marvin Bagley III is.
He has 12 points and 5 rebounds in the second half, and it's a 1-point game.
Little 3-quarter court pressure, 1-2-2 back into the 2-3 zone. And North Carolina's had great success getting the ball into the middle, kicking it back out. They just haven't knocked shots down in this second half.
Pinson in the paint, off to May, who misses a short one. The last lead for Duke was midway through the first half at 19-18.
Duke's defense improved, also limiting North Carolina to 1 shot.
Bagley down and getting helped up by his teammates.
Not sure if Bagley twisted an ankle there. He's limping on that left ankle as he got caught on the baseline, tried to make that baseline pass into the corner, and he clearly tweaked that ankle.
Landed on the foot, as is so often the case. Still in the game. Trent. Duke leads. For the first time since the midway point of the first half, Roy Williams wants a timeout. The Cameron Crazies are enjoying the last few minutes of the game much more than they've enjoyed most of the night. Duke is on a 9-0 run, and they have the lead right now, Mr. Billis, on the first 3 of the night from Gary Trent Jr.
Gary Trent now 1 of 7 from 3, and there had to be some relief felt by Gary Trent Jr. to see that ball go through the net. He has struggled mightily shooting the ball after hardly missing at all in the first 15 games of ACC play. The last 3 have been really difficult for him to get shots to go down.
It'll stay with Carolina. Again, the Tar Heels are getting the ball into the middle of the zone, but they're not making shots.
And right now, the team foul difference, Duke has only 1 team foul in the second half. North Carolina has 7. So if Duke is aggressive getting the ball into the paint, they're going to shoot free throws.
Man, Roy Williams is all over his team right now.
He wants them to be stronger with the ball and better passing. Joel Berry's got to get going. He's only got 4 points in this game. He hasn't been able to find any openings against this zone.
Another deflection. 3 deflections on this possession by Duke.
Well, Duke has really good length, and it's not just Wendell Carter and Marvin Bagley. I mean, Trayvon Duval has long arms. So does Gary Trent. And this zone can be very wide.
Pinson up and in to tie the game.
And he can make so many plays in the middle of that zone. Good passer, very alert, very smart.
Trent off a screen. The kick to Allen.
Yeah, Allen was wide open. Set a back screen for Marvin Bagley. That's what got him open.
Whoa! What a follow by Bagley!
Who else in America has a second jump like that? That's ridiculous.
Johnson for 3. Carolina back on top. 8 minutes to go, and it's really picking up here in the second half.
It's like a parallel universe. Duke's punching the ball inside. North Carolina better from 3.
Kind of the opposite of the way the programs historically have been.
Exactly. Ergo the parallel universe coming.
I should listen the first time. Gary Trent, his second in a row.
Boy, a great shooter just sees one go in.
And maybe the same applies to Kenny Williams.
How about this game? It's back to a you score, I score contest. What a great second half this has been.
Carolina was up by 10, 35-25 at the break. Allen into the paint. Offensive foul.
Well, Duke has been pounding the ball inside. Marvin Bagley III has been a big factor. But watch this second jump. That is absurd. Who does that? Not just the quickness to get up a second time, but the explosiveness. That's big time.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by AT&T and in part by Enterprise. Rent, buy, or share. How can Enterprise pick you up today?
New York Life ACC tournament begins on Tuesday. If North Carolina wins, they are the 2 seed and Duke is the 3. 2, 3, 5, and 6 are the spots that are still up for grabs. Everything else is locked. If Duke wins this game tonight, they are the 2, and Carolina, through a complicated series of tiebreakers, would fall all the way to the number 6 seed, so they would lose out on that double bye. Virginia, Duke, and Clemson have already assured themselves of double byes and not playing the first game until Thursday. 1-point lead, Carolina, in a game that's gone back and forth almost every possession in recent minutes. Carter down with a rebound.
Boy, North Carolina getting open shots. That's just not knocking them down.
Allen knocks it down, and the Blue Devils are back on top.
Boy, what a big play to get the ball down court quickly and get a wide open shot in transition.
Barry's open, and it's blocked by Duval. Pinson with a chance for a three-point play.
Boy, how about that play by Theo Pinson? Saw that the shot was blocked. Anytime that there's an air ball or a blocked shot like that, it's a advantage to the offense because the offense can follow the flight of the ball. They're not worried about blocking out, and Grayson Allen did not block out Theo Pinson at all, just turned his head, and he went right into the body of Wendell Carter, into the shot blocker, and was able not only to get the foul but complete the play. That was a big-time answer by Theo Pinson.
Misses the free throw, and we're tied at 60.
I think Duke needs to drive the ball, get it into the paint. They've got an advantage in the foul situation. They can get to the free throw line.
Duval drives it, banks it home.
Well, Duval in the second half has been a big factor. His ability to penetrate, his passing, really impressive in the second half after a quiet first half and not starting. Good pass.
Williams, air ball. Carolina ball.
11 seconds left on the shot clock. And Kenny Williams was wide open in that corner. I think they have to also look for Cam Johnson. He's been knocking shots down.
Haven't said Luke May's name that much here in the second half. We will right now, but he left it way short. Great cut, but missed the jumper. Pinson knocks it away, and Barry is fouled. That all set up by the good hands and defense of Theo Pinson.
Theo Pinson saved a basket there from Wendell Carter Jr. Another really good pass by Trevon Duval. And if not for Pinson knocking that away, that could very well have been a bucket for Wendell Carter Jr.
Instead, it's the fourth foul on Carter. He goes to the bench. Bolden back in.
North Carolina has to look to break this pressure to score, because once they get the ball into the middle, get it over half court, they've got advantage situations.
Boy, May was in some trouble there. Pinson got an open man, but a good hustle by Duval.
Pinson very fortunate. When he spun there, he was out of control. That could have easily been a turnover. That three-quarter court pressure has slowed North Carolina down a bit.
And they hate getting slowed down. Tough spot to inbound from. Long pass to Barry. Johnson threw it away.
You have to think that Duke is going to look inside here. Bagley still being guarded by Pinson. There's the cross screen, down screen action.
Pinson fronting him. Instead, it's Trent. Largest lead of the game for Duke.
Gary Trent set a screen and then got a screen. Screen for the screener action was wide open.
Floater by Johnson, not there. Ball's loose, and a Carolina foul.
Boy, what a turnaround in this second half. Now watch Gary Trent Jr. Sets this little on big cross screen. So he sets his cross screen down low for Marvin Bagley. Then he gets a down screen from Marquise Bolden and stops Johnson, or excuse me, Williams tries to go around Bolden, and Trent just stops, pops, and knocks down yet another three in this second half.
1-1 for Bolden. What a turnaround despite that missed free throw from the first half to the second half for Duke offensively. 31% to 58%, and one made three in the first half, 7 here in the second half. Barry with a jumper to make it a 3-point game.
Well, now it's down to a one-possession game. Mike Krzyzewski going to call a timeout, but it's really now about getting stops. Which team can get stops down the stretch?
Duke trailed by as many as 10. They got a 3-point lead with 4:26 to go here at Cameron. If you're a fan of a team on the bubble, you'll want to watch UCLA and USC. They are both on the bubble right now. They're coming your way next as the Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy continues. The Bruins and the Trojans also available on the ESPN app. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Maria Taylor, Duke 65. Carolina 62, 4:26 to go.
Duke has been the better rebounding team in this second half, limiting North Carolina to 1 challenge shot. And that has, I think the defense has helped Duke get off to a much better start in this second half as an offensive team. Good split of that double.
And a great pass, Duval to Bagley.
Oh, what a play by Trevon Duval. Splits the double, gets into the paint, draws the defense, and drops it off to Marvin Bagley III.
19 now for Bagley.
In large measure because he's gotten so many good passes inside.
Boy, May cannot find the range here tonight. Or at least not recently.
Well, Duke making North Carolina take those little short jumpers, so they've become more of a two-point shooting team. They've had a couple of open threes that they've missed. North Carolina really needs a couple of stops.
Pinson helps off Bagley. Carter's open for 3.
Wow.
He doesn't take many, but he makes them at about a 50% clip.
That's his 19th 3 of the season. And Wendell Carter Jr. just scratching the surface of how good he's going to be.
Pinson makes it a 6-point game, and Roy Williams will use a timeout.
Well, Trevon Duval in the second half has been a different player than he has been the last few games. Getting the ball screen, splitting the double team, and then stopping short of charging against Theo Pinson, getting it to Bagley, and then Wendell Carter III with his 19th 3 of the season. And what a terrific play by Theo Pinson inside. But again, these are just 2s. I think Duke, when the ball goes inside and gets into the paint for North Carolina, Duke seems like it's going to make them make a challenge 2 in the lane and fan out the three-point shooters rather than collapse on the ball and give an opportunity for a kick out and a three-point shot.
3:15 to go, 6-point lead Duke. They were down 10 at the half. Senior night for Grayson Allen, so you got to know how badly he wants to win this game here tonight.
Duke 8 of 14 from 3 in this second half after going 1 of 10 from 3 in the first half. What a turnaround shooting the ball for Duke.
And they've made 6 of their last 7 from beyond the arc. Duval with the ball in his hands more now than he's had in recent games. Grayson Allen's really been running the show a lot, but Duval doing a lot of the quarterbacking here in the second half.
And it has been working.
And that's Carter. Carter called for the foul, hooking his way around the defender, and that is it for Wendell Carter.
What a big play. And it was right. He hit Luke May right in the neck.
Yep. So Wendell Carter's night has come to a close.
There's no question that was an offensive foul.
Bolden back in.
Well, this is a big possession for North Carolina. One of the guys, here's that pretty well defended by Duke. North Carolina was trying to screen the top 2 guys so Barry could get in the middle.
Johnson, no. Rebound, Bagley. 2.5 to go.
That was a big-time rebound by Marvin Bagley III. Mike Krzyzewski basically stopping the ball so that Duke could run some more clock.
That's the 15th rebound of the night for Bagley.
Wow, last 2 games, 31 rebounds against North Carolina for Marvin Bagley III.
19 and 15 tonight for Bagley. Shot clock at 5. Allen has to create. And it's Carolina ball. They'll blow the whistle on the shot clock violation with 2:03 to go.
North Carolina has had some success in getting the ball into the corners for open three-point shots. And right now, the first order of business is breaking this 1-2-2 three-quarter court pressure, and I think break it to score.
Carolina's just 8 for 28 from three-point range in this game. May will try one. Duke ball.
Another 1 and out. North Carolina in the first game these two teams played had 15 offensive rebounds in the second half. They've had nowhere near that here.
Duke will run the clock down. It's at 7. Duval over the top to Bagley again.
Duval has been spectacular in this second half.
Another look, this time for Trent. 1 minute to go. 8-point game. What a turnaround here in the second half. They got to go. They need a quick score here. It'll be Barry for 3. Not there. Stolen away by Allen.
Just a spectacular second half. In large measure keyed by the freshman, Trevon Duval. His penetration and passing, and Marvin Bagley. What is that, 21 for him now? Just right over the top of the North Carolina defense, and then right over the top of the rim. That is, talk about a player that plays above the rim. That's Marvin Bagley III. And this game may cement ACC Player of the Year for the freshman.
The Blue Devils on the verge of avoiding getting swept, something Carolina has not done to them since 2009. It's been a 20-point swing in the second half. From down 10 at halftime, Jay, to up 10 in the final minute.
Well, Duke was a completely different team at both ends of the floor. Much better defensively in the zone, making it more difficult for North Carolina to get open shots, especially open threes. And then Trevon Duval, the freshman, who did not start in this game, been struggling of late. Javin DeLaurier got the start for Duval. And yet Duval didn't hang his head in the second half, came in and was not just a difference maker for Duke, the difference maker for Duke.
In the second half, Trevon Duval, 5 points, 6 assists, no turnovers. One of the big reasons why the Blue Devils have 49 points in the second half.
And turnovers have certainly been a problem for Duval, especially of late. And Duval, the last 3 games, averaged 5 points, 3 assists, and 3 turnovers, went 6 of 22 from the floor. But a lot of the openings that Marvin Bagley III had in this second half came from the terrific play of Trevon Duval.
A win tonight for the Blue Devils, and they will be the number 2 seed heading into the ACC tournament this week. Carolina would drop to the 6th spot and would have to play on Wednesday. The Blue Devils would earn the double bye.
But really amazing the last few games in ACC play. How about what Miami has done the last 4 games? They've won 4 straight games by a grand total of 8 points, and all of them seemingly coming at the buzzer.
Yeah, and Duke wins this one. Miami gets a double bye. They'd be the 3 seed. Another air ball, and that's going to do it. The Blue Devils with a great second half. And I think Mike Krzyzewski is going to try to get Grayson Allen out of the game here. He's going to call a timeout just to make a sub. O'Connell in, and Allen will walk off this court for the last time.
Quite a career for Grayson Allen and quite a way for the senior to go out at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists tonight. And the Blue Devils, with a great second half, will even up the season series with the Tar Heels at 1 apiece, and who knows, maybe they'll meet again next week in Brooklyn. So they're even up again. Last 102 matchups, Carolina 51, Duke 51. Tar Heels won by 4 earlier this season in Chapel Hill, and the Blue Devils avenged that with a 10-point win here tonight.
It always delivers. Duke Carolina, the best rivalry since Athens versus Sparta.
We're going to try to get Grayson Allen for you. Roy Williams and company heading out of the building, back on the bus, and the 10-mile drive to Chapel Hill as both of these programs and the rest of the league will get ready for what should be a sensational week. Starting Tuesday at the New York Life ACC Tournament at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Maria Taylor is with Grayson Allen.
All right, Grayson, you were able to walk off of this court for the final time and give a hug to Coach K. What was that embrace about? What was he saying to you then?
He just said we did it and that he loves me. Coach has had my back. He's been the #1 guy there for me. And that's such a special moment. I'm so happy I was able to share it with him.
What does this arena mean to you? What does wearing this Duke Blue Devil jersey for the last time in the regular season here mean?
It's everything. Duke is a huge part of me. I've given a lot to here for 4 years, and they've given so much back, way more back than I could ever give to them. And I'm so appreciative for my 4 years here, everything that I've learned, all the growth that I've had. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Somehow you managed to make a 20-point swing in this one and get a win over your rival. Tell me how that happened.
I don't know. We really turned up the intensity. It was one of those games where we went on a little bit of a run and we felt so connected with the arena. We had so much energy. None of our guys were tired in the second half. I mean, they just kept going. Marvin turned into an animal for 10 minutes and couldn't be stopped. Wendell and Gary hit huge shots, and we just did it together. It was an amazing victory.
All right, if you could describe what Duke means to you for the last time in this arena, what would it be?
It's everything. It's my love and my passion. It's a huge part of me. It's everything. I can't give it one word. It's everything.
Thanks for your time, Grayson.
Thank you.
Maria, thank you. So a very satisfying senior night for Grayson Allen and family who are here tonight in Durham. A 74-64 win as Allen leaves the court. For the last time, he's going to embrace the crazies on his way to the locker room. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, and still some basketball yet to come for both of these programs as they will meet along with the other 13 teams in the ACC for the ACC tournament, which begins Tuesday night at the Barclays Center. A 20-point swing in favor of the Blue Devils here in the second half. So how does it look starting Tuesday? Virginia, the regular season champs, the 1 seed with a win tonight. Duke is 2. Miami and Clemson have also earned the coveted double byes. NC State 5. North Carolina, which would have been the 2 with the win, with a loss, drops all the way to the 6th spot. Going to be a great few days in New York.
It always is. I mean, you talk about Duke, North Carolina always delivering. The other thing that always delivers is the ACC tournament. Doesn't matter whether it's in Greensboro, it's in Atlanta, or it's in Brooklyn. And being in Brooklyn has been, I think, great for the ACC. Not as many folks can drive like they used to, right. But it'll be a great tournament.
And if you're a fan of the Blue Devils, a 1 seed looks a little bit more realistic after this win tonight. It'll all come down to, of course, what they and the other top programs around the country accomplish during Champ Week, which is already underway. It's going to be great. We're looking forward to bringing it to you, and we hope we have the kind of intensity and excitement that we had here tonight. Grayson Allen to Mike Krzyzewski embracing as the senior makes his way off the court for the final time. The final score, Duke 74 and North Carolina 64. More college hoops action coming your way. UCLA, USC. With Bill Walton, here's Dave Pasch.